verse 8 and 9, and 43, 10 and 11, 44, 1, 44, 21, 45, 4, 48, 20, 49, 3. You see where this is going. You look them up on your own. All tells that the servant is Israel. So this Christian actually asked a very good question. Because if you go to Isaiah 53, the servant, who is God's servant, that means it's Israel, appears to be, there was no deceit in his mouth. These are the words of Zephaniah. I will leave in your midst a meek and humble people, and they will trust in the name of the Lord. The remnant of Israel shall do no unrighteousness. There will be no lies spoken by them, nor will a deceitful tongue be found in their mouth, for they shall... Isaiah 53 and all the chapters that introduce it are not referring to all the Jews are God's faithful servant. After all, in Isaiah 49, verse 6, we are told that the servant, which is the righteous remnant of the Jewish people, is called to bring the rest of the tribes of Jacob, meaning the remnant who is loyal to God is given a mandate to be an Or L'Goyim, a light to the nations. And
here are the top reasons why Isaiah 53, by itself, even by itself, does not correspond to the picture painted about Jesus in the Christian Bible, in the New Testament, the Greek scriptures. Number one, Isaiah 53 verse 3 says the servant would be despised and rejected by all people, not by a few lunatics. Yet the Gospels say Jesus was universally popular, immensely popular. For example, in Luke chapter 4, write it down, Luke chapter 4, verses 14 through 15, and Mark chapter 3, verses 7 through 9, speaks about him being extremely popular in Jerusalem and all over the surrounding regions. They would come gather in big crowds, all huddling and gathering around Jesus. In one of the Gospels, it says that he even had to get a boat to get on water, to get away from the crowd. They were worried they were going to get crushed. He was extremely popular. What about right now? We can say with absolute clarity that Jesus is without question the most popular person ever in all of history. And you know this is true. So that's a big problem. Number two, Isaiah 53 verse 3 says, the servant would be well acquainted with sickness and pain. There is no evidence that the true Jesus suffered sickness and pain throughout his life, not for a few hours, throughout his life. A man of pain, not with a little bit of pain or hours of pain. Another one, Isaiah 53 verse 9 says the servant would do no violence. Yet, Jesus, number one, attacked people with a whip in the temple in John chapter 2 verse 15. Number two, needlessly destroyed a fig tree, which is forbidden in Torah, Mark chapter 11 verses 12 through 14. Number three, needlessly killed an entire herd of pigs in Matthew chapter 8 verses 30 through 32. Needless harm to animals. Isaiah 53 verse 10, the servant would have children, seed, Sarah, and have long life. It does not mean children as in disciples. It means literal children. Sarah always refers to seed, as in children, literal children, which you can see in Tanakh about the real Messiah in Ezekiel chapter 40 to the end. It speaks about the Messiah having children, a family.
And they were suffering and was quiet, like the deer, like the animal that is about to be slaughtered in the slaughterhouse, like the sheep in front of the people who are coming to cut her wool, that she is standing still and quiet, velo yiftach piv, will not open his mouth. And also that it's written that the people of Israel, when they went to their death, been tortured to death, they were not talking, they were not screaming. And you know that in your book it's written that Jesus was screaming. He was screaming to Hashem, and he was screaming to the people that came after him. He said, "Why you came with your swords and sticks to catch me?" And when he was crucified, he cried, my God, or Lord, why have you left me?" And as well, it's written in the verses that he will be buried with the evil ones. And how can you say that it's written on him that he will be buried with the evil ones if, based on your wisdom, it's written on him that he was buried in a grave of a righteous man from Ramatayim, a place that calls Ramatayim?